Story is very important to who we are as human beings. In fact, if I came to you and asked you, tell me about yourself, you would most likely tell me your story, where you've been and what major events have shaped your life, or even where you're from and how that contributes to your identity. Story is primary when we think about who we are. And that's why the Bible comes to us as a story. The Bible comes to us as the greatest story that's ever been told, written by God Himself, and the Bible seeks to place us within its own story. What the Bible is doing then is it's informing our own story. We might have our own idea of what our story is. Maybe it's one of moving from one success to the other. Maybe we think it's the story of getting away with one thing after another and hiding all of that. But the Bible comes to us and says, maybe your perception of your story is a little bit off. The Bible then comes to us as a story that begins with God and a man and a woman in a garden and ends with God and a husband and a bride in a city. And it seeks to show us how our own individual stories fit into that overarching story. And it seeks to reorient our own stories and even reshape our own stories, our own personal stories, in light of the story that it's telling. This is what theologians call biblical theology. That is, we seek to read the Bible in light of the way the original authors understood it, as a developing story, a story about God, about us, about God's world, how God made a good world and He declared it very good, but sin entered into that world, and from sin comes all murder and strife and disorder that we find. The story then of God sending His own Son to die for sins that we've committed in order to free us and free all of God's creation to exist in a final state of glorifying Him and enjoying Him forever. It's a story that beckons us to come and be a part of it and to believe that the story is true and to think about everything that happens in our lives in light of that story. Or other categories, to have faith and to believe the gospel. That story of God who sent His Son to come and kill the serpent and rescue the bride and take her to live with Him forever.